Hey yo, what's good YouTube? We back for another tutorial. I'ma keep it 1,000 with y'all. This week I just had no ideas to make a video. My Spotify playlist literally didn't change in 6 months. There was Nav that just dropped this album like last week, and that was okay, but I didn't feel like making a video of this type. One thing I'm super excited though is Travis Scott's new album, which is supposed to drop. We don't really know when, but I assume September, maybe October. If you're a Travis Scott fan or you just like his music, as you may know, he is preparing his new album. It's gonna be called UTOPIA, I think. It's already been 4 years since Travis Scott dropped his last album, which was Astroworld. He already previewed a couple songs that might be on his new album, and let me tell you one thing, I cannot wait for it. Today we're doing something special, so not only you will learn how to do some crazy ass Travis Scott loops, you will also learn how to do drums on it. Yes, you heard that right, I'm finna do some drums. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the first time on this channel. You can download this loop for free right now, link is in the description. So open up a new project in 2FL Studio, let's make some vibes. I wanted to start with a synthesizer, so I opened up Analog Lab 5 and I got this preset from Loop O. It's called Reverse Travis. I wanted to start this chord progression with a G minor, so here's what I found. Very simple, very catchy. As you may have noticed, this preset from Analog Lab 5 is in reverse, so every single time you would play a note or a chord, in this case, the sound would slowly start to go up and then cut directly, slowly going up and cut, and basically this allows you to have a great balance. On the mixer channel, the only effect we have is this EQ right here. This going to cut the high frequencies from the sound and a little bit of mid frequencies as well. For the high pitch piano, we have a piano from Contact. It is from the bank Noir. You already know, I just love this bank. It is the stock preset, so it's basic pure, and I didn't change anything in the VST itself. What I did for the MIDI is I took the same exact chord progression from the synthesizer before, and I broke it down in a way just like an arpeggiator would do, so it's a progression where it's steady going down. On the mixer channel, we have this EQ right here where I cut it all of the lows. I didn't want any lows on this piano at all. Cut it a little bit of high frequencies as well, around 6000 Hz. RC20 is still one of my favorite plugins when it comes to detune and vintage effect. I would say it's still pretty underrated in my opinion. I just took the stock preset, turned off the distortion, and raised the wobble just a little bit. For the last plugin of this sound, we have Valhalla delay. It is a ping pong delay where the notes is an F, and we turn down the volume to about 24%, 25. Let's see a before and after. For the next instrument, I'm pulling up the big boy sauce, my Prophet synthesizer. So this is my Prophet Rev 2. I just got it pretty recently. This is one of my favorite synthesizer. This one got quite a lot of preset. I usually use it for basses, leads, pads, and texture sometimes. I'm about to use it in order to create my own synth bass. Let me record a few takes and I'm getting back to you. I put a few effects on the bass. The first thing I have right here is an EQ. So I cut a little bit of the high frequencies, a little bit of low ends, and I boosted around here. The next plugin I'm about to show y'all is really the sauce. I've never seen it in a video before, or I never seen anyone use it, I think. Let me present it for you. This plugin is from Waves. It's called Bass Writer. It's pretty hard for me to describe you exactly what it does. The best way I could describe it, it plays with the volume of the bass, so it's not boring. I'm just gonna show y'all. So yeah, it really messes with the volume. It's a little bit like sidechain actually. And you got a bunch of presets right here. I think it's pretty good when you try to spice your bass just a little bit. Last but not least, RC20 once again. This time it was only for the distortion, so no EQ, no wobble, no noise. A little bit of magnetic, but mainly it was for the distortion. Now that we have our three main instruments, this would be the outro. So we have the synth, the dark piano, and then the bass. Next instrument we have is a choir. It is from a contact bank called Nucleus. I love this bank. It sounds a little bit like opera. It is super dramatic. For the MIDI, you already know, I just followed the same chords. I thought the choir was a nice thing to add. I got inspired by Praise God song, you know, that song from Kanye West Donda's album. I wanted to get the same dramatic feeling. On the mixer channel, I first have an EQ. I cut it a lot of high frequencies. The sound was just too sharp. This choir was already a very wide sound, but I decided to go ahead and add some ozone imager. I really wanted something super wide. I lowered the choir quite a lot. I only wanted this sound as a background sound. I didn't want it to override the main instruments. Last thing you might want to do for this melody is a little bit of arrangement. As you can see, I did 5 different patterns. The synth bass actually comes only 2 times as the intro and somewhere back here. You can do what you want. I like to do different patterns so the people that put drums on it have different options. Now that we made the vibes, let's put some crispy drums on it. Let's start with the hi-hat. Nothing too crazy here. One thing that did the difference though is that I played a lot with the pen and the velocity. Remember, we already had a little bounce going on since it was a reverse sound. So when you play with the velocity, it just completes the bounce. One thing I like to do to keep my beats not boring is to give some little space here and there for the hi-hats. It's gonna give you some space to add some more percussion, some open hats, or really anything. It's also really good for an artist to record on it. It gives more space for the vocals. For the snare pattern, I layered 2 sounds. It is a rim and also a snare. Here's the snare. Here's the rim. These 2 sounds together sounds like this. Let's continue with the kick. So as you can see, the velocity is through the roof, except here and there, and you're gonna see why. When I put 2 kicks side by side, I love to play with the first or the second one to make the velocity lower. Once again, it's only for bounce purpose. Now for the 808, here's a really interesting pattern. Since I went super simple on the hi-hat and the snare, I decided to go a little crazy over here. I also added few percussion, you know, few rims, open hats. If you wanted to see some crazy mixer channel sauce, you're probably gonna be disappointed. As you can see on my master, I literally have not a single effect on the channels. I did this because on the drums, in my opinion, it's more about sound leveling. I also believe sound selection is so important that if you choose the right sound, sometimes you just don't really need to mix them. I mean, if it sounds already great. I always had that one thing on my master channel though, and it is a Fruity Soft clipper. What I'm doing is I turn down the threshold knob and turn up the post all the way up. If it's gonna be the first time you're trying this, I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. It makes the sound so much crispier, it's not even fair. For me, the sweet spot is a little bit just over 0, so you would have just a little bit of clipping. It just slaps. Not too much though. Here how it sounds so far. There's another thing I find super important in my beats, and it's all about the beat arrangement. Like I said earlier, you gotta give the artist some space. As you can see here and there and there, I did cut my drum pattern. Let me just show you how it makes the difference. This time I really did it the lazy way. What you can also do is cut, let's say, the 808 sometime. Now you would just cut the snare. You would cut only the hi-hat at the end. What it does is the artist would rap on the beat and then the drums cut, but the melody, it keeps going. So when the drums come back, it slaps even harder. Go ahead and listen to your favorite modern rap song. If the song slaps, I guarantee you there's some part right here where the drums just cut. I cannot stress this enough, it's the simple stuff that makes the difference. Last thing I did for this beat is I chose a part that I liked for the intro, and that's the one with the bass, of course. This right here is my tag, some texture, and a transition effect. What I would usually do now is to take all of this, Control B, Control B. So now we're around 3 minutes, that's perfect. For the outro, I'm gonna put the same part as the intro, so it's gonna be the bass. If I was not a lazy piece of shit, I would also do an automation to slowly lower the volume until the end, but I'm not going to. And this is it, guys. That's how I would do a Travis Scott beat from scratch. Well, it was not really from scratch because I already done all those steps before recording the video, but yo, you get the point. Please let me know what I should do next. Did you love seeing me doing drums? Let me know all of that in the comments. Let's just hope Travis Scott dropped this album soon. I'ma wrap this one up for today, guys. Until then, be safe. I'ma catch y'all later this week. Peace.